Okay. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Uh, so I'm excited. Today we are starting a new series of studies. We are going to start reading stories in Arabic. Inshallah, we'll start simple and then we proceed as we go on in terms of complexity and maybe sentence structures and whatever else that comes our way, inshallah. And hopefully, my target is that one day we are able to read Arabic stories without harakat. That's my goal for this whole program. So we're going to start simple. We're going to start with stories, very basic sentence structures, very simple jumla ismiyas and jumla fi'aliyas that you're familiar with. A lot of kana structures, which are very easy. And then with tashkil, by tashkil, I mean they have fatha, kasra, dhamma, it's all written down. Then from there, we'll keep on increasing the level of complexity, maybe more vocabulary words, and we keep learning as we go. So this is a pilot program that I'm starting. Inshallah, if people fit with it, I will continue. If not, then, I don't need to continue something that people don't find benefit in. So, but before we start, I'm just gonna explain to you how I envision this whole program to run. So basically, we shall be reading through the story, or I personally, because this is the first time, I will be reading through the story with minimal interruption. So basically, I just want you to listen, pay attention, try to understand as much as you can, follow the story, just see the words and try and imagine what is being said. I will try to animate the story as much as I can, make it come alive for you so that you can appreciate, what's happening in the story, inshallah. But just the main point is to listen and comprehend and understand. So listening and comprehension, those are the main goals for this entire project, and hopefully build on the vocabulary, inshallah. So don't worry about the nahu, don't worry about the sarf. That's not the goal of this. So don't think about, okay, this kana, what is it doing here? Mubtada, khabar. None of that. I just want you to imagine you're listening to a story like you would listen to a story in English, and you're not caring about this is the verb, this is the object, this is the doer, none of that. Okay, so you're just listening to a story to enjoy the story and to understand the story as much as possible. So that's the goal. And then once I have finished reading the story, I'm going to request one of you, hopefully at least one of you or maybe several of you, if you can summarize for us what you understood in the story. It doesn't have to be accurate. It doesn't have to be everything, just a brief summary of what you understood. And then from there, we'll go back to the story and maybe go paragraph by paragraph or sentence by sentence, just to see if there's any new vocabulary that maybe caught your eye or maybe something you didn't understand, and then just try and translate it and pick out those new vocabulary so that we can understand the whole thing at the end of the day. Now, I found this beautiful website that you're seeing right now. It has very easy to understand, very nice stories. And at the end of the story we're going to do today is about maybe 5-6 minutes reading, very short story. If it goes very long, if I'm reading very, very slowly, maybe 8 minutes tops. I don't think it can go beyond that. So it's a very short story, inshallah. And then what I like about this site is that after the story, we have some comprehension questions. So inshallah, once we are done with the story, and once we've done the summary, once we've looked at the vocabulary, we will do the questions under it and see how much of it we've actually understood. Then once we are done with all that, I'm going to ask you for your feedback and because like I said, this is a pilot project. I'm not so sure if it's something that will be viable or something I want to continue. So I will ask for your feedback and your suggestions for improvement. And then after that, hopefully if there's positive response to it, I will start the WhatsApp group. If not, then there's no need for me to start the WhatsApp group. I've already started the WhatsApp group, but if you guys just want to continue, it's a matter of me sharing that link so that you guys can join and we can continue with the project. Now, maybe one other thing I just wanted to mention is that how the WhatsApp group would work is that there's this live that will be happening Fridays, and I've told you how it will happen. And then on Mondays, I was thinking I could do maybe a 5-sentence or 6-sentence type of story, a very short story. Just post it in the group and people can try and put the harakat, or people can try and interact with that story and analyze that story and see if there's any new vocabulary. Again, very simple stuff, very basic stuff in the group as we build on the vocabulary. And every story we learn, I will create a list of vocabulary words for that story and post it in the WhatsApp group so that you can also practice with that. So that's the whole idea of what I'm trying to do here. I hope that's clear enough, and I hope you can find benefit, inshallah. All right, so Bismillah, let's begin. So today's story, I really like this one because it reminded me of my childhood. These are some of the stories that we grew up with. In my culture, the story of Juha, we actually call him Juha Kalulu. I don't know where it came from, but that's how, for some reason, that's the Swahili, term for the guy. So it's a very funny character, Juha, and his story is very funny. And I'm pretty sure some of you may have heard of Juha, or I don't know if you have. But yeah, today we're going to start with Juha. So the title of the story is Juha والبخيل, as you can see here, Juha والبخيل. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to start reading now. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to raise your hand. But for now, I'm just going to read through. Like I mentioned, it's just going to be about 6 to 8 minutes, maybe, tops. So I'm just going to read through it once, and then we'll come back. If you have anything you want to note, maybe something you didn't understand, just note it down somewhere, or just try and remember it. And then when we come back, you can be able to ask. The reason why I'm doing this is because a story needs to flow. And if I get interrupted all the time, then you won't really appreciate the flow of the story. And even the comprehension bit of it might be lost. So, all right, hope we're ready to listen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Again, try and follow as I'm reading through. Oh, and one more thing, one important thing that I forgot to mention. So you're going to realize maybe in future stories, not in this one, the word for once upon a time in Arabic is actually كان يا مكان. كان يا مكان في قديم الزمان. That's the equivalent of saying once upon a time, long ago, or very long ago, or whatever versions there are there. So كان يا مكان في قديم الزمان. All right. Here it doesn't begin like that, but it's good to know that, inshallah. Okay. في يوم من الأيام خرج جحا من قريته. أراد جحا أن يزور قرية بعيدة، وفي الطريق نفد طعام جحا والماء. كانت الشمس حارقة والجو حارا جدا. كان جحا يمشي في الصحراء. كان جحا عطشان. جلس جحا وهو يلهث. نظر جحا إلى الشمس. نظر جحا إلى الصحراء. رأى جحا من بعيد رجلا. كان الرجل البعيد جالسا. وقف جحا وهو يبتسم. قال جحا لنفسه: ربما عند الرجل طعام وماء. جرى جحا نحو الرجل بسرعة. كان الرجل يأكل طعاما ويشرب ماء. اقترب جحا من الرجل. وقف جحا أمام الرجل. عرف جحا الرجل. كان الرجل جار جحا. كان اسم الرجل صالح. ابتسم جحا وقال: السلام عليكم يا صالح. نظر صالح إلى جحا. رد صالح: وعليكم السلام. ثم نظر إلى طعامه. ظن جحا أن صالح سوف يدعوه إلى الطعام. أكل صالح وهو صامت. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. غضب جحا وجلس بعيدا. وبعد مدة سأل صالح جحا: كيف حال كلبي يا جحا؟ قال جحا: كلبك بخير. كلبك قوي وشجاع. كلبك يشبه الأسد. انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. قال صالح: كيف حال زوجتي سلمى؟ قال جحا: زوجتك امرأة كريمة. زوجتك بصحة وعافية. انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. أكل صالح اللقمة أصدرت معدة جحا أصواتا. قال صالح: كيف حال ابني زيد؟ وضع جحا يده فوق بطني. نظر جحا إلى الطعام الكثير. قال جحا: ابنك زيد بخير وعافية. انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. ظل صالح يأكل. سأل صالح جحا: وكيف حال جملي؟ أغمض جحا عينيه. كان جحا جائعا جدا. أجاب جحا: جملك بخير. جملك قوي وصبور. جملك في صحة جيدة. انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. بقي صالح يأكل. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا أبدا. بعد كل هذه الأسئلة غضب جحا لأن صالحا لم يدعوه إلى الطعام. لهذا السبب فكر جحا في حيلة. في تلك اللحظة مشى كلب من أمام صالح. كان الكلب نحيلا ومريضا. ضحك صالح وقال: لا يوجد كلب مثل كلبي القوي. ابتسم جحا وقال: نعم، لو عاش كلبك لأصبح ملك الكلاب. التفت صالح إلى جحا. سأل صالح جحا: وهل مات كلبي؟ قال جحا بصوت حزين: نعم، لقد أكل الكلب قطعة من لحم جملك. سدت القطعة حلق الكلب فمات. ترك صالح الطعام. وقف صالح وصاح: وهل مات جمل؟ قال جحا: نعم، لقد سقط الجمل في قبر زوجتك. كسر الجمل رقبته. ذبح الناس الجمل قبل أن يموت. لطم صالح وجهه. صاح صالح: وهل ماتت زوجتي؟ قال جحا: نعم، لقد مات زوجتك بسبب الحزن. كانت زوجتك حزينة لأن ابنها زيد مات. شد صالح شعره. صاح صالح: وهل مات؟ أجاب جحا: نعم، لقد سقط سقف البيت. كان زيد في البيت وحده. كسرت الحجارة رأس زيد فمات. لطم صالح وجهه. بكى صالح. ضرب صالح صدره. نتف صالح لحيته. نسي صالح طعامه. جرى صالح في الصحراء. كان صالح يجري مثل المجنون. نظر جحا إلى الطعام وابتسم. جلس جحا أمام الطعام. قال جحا: هذا عقاب البخيل. أرجو أن يغفر الله لي. أكل جحا الطعام كله. حمل جحا الماء. مشى جحا في الصحراء. وصل جحا إلى القرية البعيدة. Right, so basically that's the end of our story. So I'm just gonna ask one of you maybe, or two of you, or three of you, any number of you, if you'd like to just give us a summary of what you understood from that story. It's a little bit of a funny story because Juha is a pretty funny guy. So if anyone would like to just raise their hands and just tell us what do you understand from the story? It doesn't have to be word for word, just a summary of what you understood. Because again, remember, this whole exercise is about comprehension and trying to understand and maybe gain a little bit of vocabulary in the process. Anyone, you can raise your hand if you'd like to share with us. I picked this story because I thought it was easy and simple enough, but maybe not so much. Was I reading too fast? Maybe, I don't know. Yes.
You were reading really well, but there were a few words that I didn't know. It seemed like it was about camel dying.
There's a Kamoda died, yes. Yeah. Okay. So you got that. What did you get something else?
He stopped eating. There was I can't give you a summary. I could give, there are some words and some sentences I could understand. Some of them I just did not understand.
Okay. Okay. That's the whole point.
Can I try, Sister?
Yes, please.
What I understood is like this Huja has to go for he has to go to a village which is far, and he was hungry and he was thirsty as well, and he was looking around for food, and he met a guy. He knows him. His name was Saleh, and but he was not ready to share the food, I guess. So he made up a story of the death of his wife or dog or something, what I understood is, and then he, in worry, he just left the food and he just left the food in the desert, and he took that food and he had the food, and he reached the village.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. That's a pretty neat summary of what happened. I think you got most of it. I think Huma has her hand raised. Huma, would you like to also share with us what you understood from the story?
Yeah, this is the story about this person, Juha, and he was traveling far and wide in a desert from one village to another, and he was very thirsty, very hungry, and he was looking out at the sun, and it was it was very hot, and he saw a guy coming there. His name was Saleh, and they had a conversation, and I didn't get much of the beginning conversation. Like he asked about his camel and he said everybody was fine, like his wife, his son and camel, and I don't get the part about the dog, when a dog came there and he was very skinny, and I didn't get that. And then after that he asked about like Joha, he told Saleh about Saleh asked about his wife, and he said your wife died, your camel died, and then your wife died out of grief, and then your son was in a room by himself alone, and a stone fell on him, something like that, and he died. Saleh was taken aback and he was in a state of shock and he forgot his food. He was actually Joha was making conversation with him earlier in the just thinking that Saleh will offer his food to him within that when they'll be chit chatting and he'll offer his food to him, but Saleh was not doing it. So Joha made up the story that your wife died and your camel died and then your son died. So Saleh was so taken aback and he was stunned and shocked, and he left his food and he ran like a maniac there. And Joha then sat in front of the food and he ate to his full fill, and he took the water and food with him and went to another village.
Exactly. Beautiful. So at least some of you got something. Most of you got a lot of things. Some of you didn't get much, which is fine. It's okay, because we're all here to learn, to be able to understand how Arabic comes together. And these are very simple structures, and we're going to see how. And I think it's maybe new for some of you because you've never had a story in Arabic before, and you're wondering, okay, I don't understand this word and how it's coming together. So that's why I did this, so that we can all understand. Okay, inshallah. Just something to point out that the tashkil, the fatha, kasra, and dhamma in these stories, most 90%, like 99% is accurate, but then there are a few mistakes here and there. It's fine. So again, like I said, we're not focusing on grammar and all that, but as long as for our purpose of learning, we just know that if we see a mistake, we understand it's a typo, or we read it the right way, basically. All right. So yeah, that was the summary of the story. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad that, and maybe the rest who didn't get it, I don't know if the other students were explaining what the summary of it, maybe did it you were like, did it make sense for you? You were like, oh, I had that part, but I wasn't sure, maybe, oh, so that's what it meant. Like, were you able to connect the dots when they were explaining as well? Because that's also important, so that you can be able to see, okay, they were talking about this. There was a dog that was mentioned. there was a camel that was mentioned, there was a wife that was mentioned, you know, am I able to connect some of these things? So that's also important. Now, that being done, so I'm going to go back to the passage. We'll go bit by bit. We see the meaning of it. We'll go through the translation of it. Find new vocabulary. If there's a word that you feel like it's a new word, you can raise it up. So this is the part where I need you to be active so that we can work together and see. All right, so I'm going to read sentence by sentence. We'll start with the first paragraph here, and then we'll pick out those new words. So, في يوم من الأيام خرج جحا. Juha is the name of the person that we're talking about. So, خرج جحا من قريته. Okay. Do I need to explain anything there? Is that clear?
So, Lam, how you will explain this para? في يوم من الأيام, in a day of days.
So this is, you don't translate it literally like that. So you just say one of the days or one day, just one day. That's how normally stories begin. One day, this and this.
Okay. في يوم من الأيام. Okay.
Yeah. So you just to understand the structure. في يوم من الأيام, one day.
Okay.
خرج جحا من قريته. Okay. I think that's pretty easy. خرج جحا من قريته. It's a pretty simple جملة فعلية right there. Okay, but if there's anything, if I read something and you know you feel like you don't understand it, please don't sit back and be like everybody understands, I'm the only one. You know, I don't like that. I encourage people to just come up and say, because again we all have different levels, so we need to all go together. So kharaja, yes, Fawzia.
Sorry, I was just trying to understand the sentence. So kharaja Juha min al-qaryati would be Juha left from his village.
Yeah. Juha came out of his village. I went away from his village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like left kharaja or?
Yeah.
Or
Kharaja,
return?
like if you're coming out of something and it's lazim, so you're the one doing it. Or so Juha is the one who's coming out of his, or like leaving. That's the easiest, because coming out doesn't really, it's not good English. So we can say, yeah, kharaja Juha min qaryatihi, he left. Juha left his town. Okay, we can say that. أراد جحا أن يزور قرية بعيدة. أراد جحا أن يزور قرية بعيدة. Is there anything I need to explain there?
What is yazuru?
Zara yazuru, I guess, no?
Yes, Zara yazuru, to visit.
Visit. Okay.
To visit. So أراد, he wanted, Juha wanted, أن يزور قرية بعيدة, to visit a faraway village or a faraway town. So he was leaving his town in order to go and visit another faraway town. وفي الطريق,
On his way.
yeah, on his way. Good. نفد طعام جحا والماء. I guess nafida is a new word here. I'm pretty sure. Anybody know who knows the meaning of nafida? Nafida yanfadu. So to deplete or to become little, to finish, but mostly to decrease. You can say to decrease or
Like
to
short of food or something.
yes, short of food. Yeah. So nafida طعام جحا والماء. He basically his food and drink was depleted. Okay, it was finished, or it was.
Mr. Ilham, this is.
Yeah.
Mr. Ilham, this is Samir family, and طعامه and والمعه is the mubtada. I mean, like the file of nafida, right?
Yes.
So can we not keep like nafida طعامه والمعه جمع?
You can do that, but you see that's the thing about speech, and that's why I tell you not to worry about the grammar and the sarf, because when I'm speaking to you, when we are speaking English, like you don't think, okay, what comes before this, what comes after that. When you're just normally speaking any language, Like you don't think about the grammar when you're speaking, right? Same thing with Arabic. Like when it's just normal speech or somebody's writing a book or it's not the Quran. When it's just normal speech, people speak differently. Okay, so
Yeah.
I can put this word before and I can put the other word after, and I can just like mess up the entire order that you're familiar with, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's basically what's happening here. And that's just because language is very fluid and dynamic, and it just, yeah, it doesn't follow rules all the time when you're speaking or and especially when you're telling a story is meant to be exciting and fantastic, and the language is going to always be different. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions there?
No, sister.
كانت الشمس, and again also with stories, the way they end, maybe they want to retain a certain rhythm, and maybe that's why the structure might be a bit different. Stories, poems, and things like that, they want to maintain a certain rhythm so that it flows better. Okay. كانت الشمس حارقة. كانت, this is the كان structure. So كانت الشمس حارقة والجو حارا جدا. حارقة, are we all familiar with that?
No.
It's
hot or-
extremely hot.
So حرقة, to burn. So it was burning. The sun was burning. Yeah, and then of course الجو is the weather. الجو, حار is hot. Now حار means hot.
Very hot.
Yes, very hot. جدا, exactly, very hot. Okay. كان جحا يمشي في الصحراء. كان جحا يمشي, مشى, يمشي, to, who knows?
Walk.
Yes.
يمشي.
صحرائي. صحرائي.
In the desert. In the desert.
Yes, and Sahara.
صحرائي is the desert. And maybe, I don't know, because now I'm not, I need you guys to point out, because I'm going to make a list of the vocabulary words that I'm going to post in the group if at all we continue with this project. So maybe you can just point out so far, like how many do you feel like I need, like things that you might forget and we need to remember, not like the obvious one. So I don't know.
And Afida.
Nafida, yeah. Can take that one. Take a different color.
Harika.
طريقة. Okay. We can start. Why is it changing?
Harika was burning, yeah?
حارقة, yes. حارقة, because it's an اسم فاعل. So
Mhm.
we have that. Yeah. Oh, you said حارقة, not طريقة. Okay. My bad. So this one is one. And then we can have حارقة number 2. الجو, weather. الجو is weather. And then we have كان جحا يمشي, again في الصحراء. So we'll take صحراء, I guess. كان جحا عطشان. عطشان. Are you familiar with that word? عطشان. So I think it's عطش or عطشة, to be thirsty. And then عطشان is extremely thirsty. It's like, it's مبالغة form, like رحمن, غفران, that kind of pattern. So عطشان is somebody who's extremely thirsty. You can even use it like it's normally used like that. Oh, أنا عطشانة. I am extremely thirsty. Okay. So جحا was extremely thirsty. جلس جحا. I think that's pretty straightforward. وهو يلهث. So now this is, I think, a new one. يلهث. Okay. Anybody have any idea of يلهث? I can mimic it for you. I can give you a sound to go like this. What is that?
Hunting.
Yes, he was panting. You know, like a dog, when a dog is very thirsty, it does. So that's what Juha was doing. Jalasa Juha, he sat down from the heat of the sun and he was panting. He was going. So then, نظر جحا إلى الشمس. نظر, to look. So he looked at the sun. نظر جحا إلى الشمس. نظر جحا إلى الصحراء. He looked up at the sun. He looked forward to the desert. And he was trying to look for water, of course, and food. And then he saw رأى جحا من بعيد, from far away. He saw a man, رجلا. He saw a man. رأى جحا من بعيد رجلا. Okay. I think I'm just going to go through and translate, but if I come to a word that maybe you feel like we need to pause on, you can let me know, because I think I need to just go on. Okay. And then we have كان الرجل البعيد, so موصوف صفة الرجل البعيد. كان الرجل البعيد جالسا. The faraway man was sitting. Okay. وقف جحا. وقف, يقف, to stand. Okay, so Juha stood up. Remember, he was sitting. He stood up because he saw a man. He stood up. وهو يبتسم, and he smiled. ابتسم يبتسم, to smile. وهو يبتسم. So he became happy because he saw a guy, and he hoped maybe, you know, could find something. قال جحا لنفسه. Juha said to himself, ربما عند الرجل طعام وماء. Perhaps the man has food and water. Perhaps the man has food and water. ربما means perhaps or maybe. جرى حجة نحو الرجل بسرعة. جرى, يجري, like the way هجر, جرى, جرت. جرى is to run. Okay. So جرى يجري, run or ran. So Juha ran نحو, in the direction of. Okay. So نحو, I know for those who are doing what is it called? التعبير القرآني. You've come across نحو, and it means an example or like. But there's another word نحو, which also means in the direction of. So if I say ذهبت نحوه, I went in his direction. Okay, so نحو means in the direction of. So جرى جحا نحو الرجل بسرعة. بسرعة, hastily or quickly or with haste. بسرعة, سرعة means quickly or quick, with quickness. I don't know how to, but I guess you understand quickly. Yes, Fauzia.
is the بسرعة متعلق بالفعل because it
Yeah.
has a B? Okay.
Yes, it is.
So the word would be سرعة.
Yeah, سرعة is a masdar.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So بسرعة, then it made it jar majrur, and that would be the متعلق of جرى, of course. Yeah. So جرى جحا نحو الرجل بسرعة. Juha ran towards the man quickly. Actually, it's just used if you want to say the word for quickly, بسرعة. Like that's how it's used. So just maybe a point to note there. كان الرجل يأكل طعاما ويشرب ماء. The man was eating food and drinking water. اقترب جحا من الرجل. اقترب, يقترب, we have done this family. So Juha came close to the man. اقترب, to come close. So اقترب جحا من الرجل. The Juha came close to the man. وقف جحا أمام الرجل. وقف, we've done it before. He stood. Remember, he was sitting, then he stood, then he ran, and now he's in front of the man. He stood in front of the man. وقف حجة أمام الرجل. أمام is a special مضاف, so it means in front of. So أمام الرجل, in front of the man. That's why the off is there. عرف حجة الرجل. عرف, يعرف, to know. Okay. So Juha knew the man. He knew the man. كان الرجل جار جحا. The man, again, kind of structure. So the man was Juha's neighbor. Jar is a neighbor. Okay. And I think we did this. فتش عن الجار قبل فتش عن الجار قبل الدار, when we were doing the idioms, the proverbs. So we, there was that proverb, look for a neighbor before you look for a house. Then we have كان اسم الرجل صالحا. That is pretty straightforward. كان اسم الرجل صالحا. Okay. ابتسم جحا. Again, ابتسم comes up a lot. ابتسم to smile. So they're just trying to make you envision the story. So ابتسم جحا. جحا smile. ابتسم يبتسم. They are actually, yes?
Ibtisama is it's a verb or it's a noun, sister?
It's a verb. ابتسام, like اقتراب, that would be like the مصدر, which is a lot of people actually, they have that name. ابتسام.
Ibtisam is it's a verb, right? It's in a verbal noun? No, it's a verb form, right? Madi.
ابتسم
Ibtisama
like
يبتسم
اقترب.
اقترب.
So
it's a Madi.
yes. Here is a ماضي. ابتسم. ابتسم يبتسم ابتساما. So that's, so Juha smiled. وقال, and he said, السلام عليكم يا صالح. I'm not going to translate that, and if you need me to translate that, then you need to go to intensive 1 or you need to go back to your childhood, because this you learned from when you were a kid. السلام عليكم. All right. And then you have نظر صالح إلى جحا. نظر, we also talked about نظر, because remember when Juha looked up at the sky, نظر إلى الشمس, نظر إلى الصحراء, he looked up at the sun, he looked up at the desert. نظر, to look or to see, or mostly it's used for looking. So نظر صالح إلى جحا. صالح, because it's the doer, you can see the ضمتين. صالح looked at Juha, or looked up at Juha. رد صالح, رد يرد, to respond. When somebody says something to you, you respond to them. So ترد, you do رد. So رد يرد. So رد صالح, صالح responded, وعليكم السلام. ثم نظر إلى طعامه. ثم حرف عطف, نظر with كبد, نظر to look. Then he looked at his food. So he looked up at Juha, responded, went back to his food. Like, he didn't even really care so much that Juha was there. ظن جحا أن صالح سوف يدعوه إلى الطعام. ظن, to think, to assume. It can be used for both meanings. So Juha thought, or he assumed, that Saleh سوف يدعوه. دعا يدعو. We know this one, دعوة, to call somebody. So دعا يدعو. And this is why, by the way, sarf is very important, because you see how I'm coming up with the words. Like if I know it's da'a yad'u, then I know what it means. So that's why sarf is very, very important. Inshallah, we'll get there. So سوف يدعوه إلى الطعام. Juha thought, or he assumed, that Saleh would invite him or call him to the food. Like invite him to eat. إلى الطعام, to food. أكل صالح وهو صامت. صمت يصمت, يصمت, I think. صمت يصمت. I'm not so sure about the family one words always just get to me because they're very diverse. But the idea of this word is samitun, is a person who is quiet. It's the isim fa'il. So akala Salih ate, وهو صامت, while he was quiet. Like he didn't bother so much with, he didn't invite him basically, he was just quiet. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. Salih did not look at Juha. They don't bother with him. غضب جحا. Juha started getting mad. غضب يغضب. غضب يغضب. I keep mixing these ones up. غضب يغضب. سمع يسمع. So Juha became angry. Okay. وجلس بعيدا. So basically he just, he did what some of those kids do. If you have a kid and they get angry, they just frown. They sulk, cross their hands, and then just go sit somewhere and be like, So that's what Juha kind of did here. He got mad and went and sat somewhere far. وبعد مدة, بعد مدة, مضاف مضاف إليه, special مضاف. After a while, مدة is time. So بعد مدة, after a while or after some time, سأل صالح جحا. Salih asked Juha because they're neighbors, right? And Juha just came. No problem, Arifa, that's fine. Jazakillahu khairan. So Salih asked Juha, كيف حال كلبي يا Juha? How's my dog doing? Like we say كيف حالك, كيف حالك. So we can ask about something else as well. Like how's this thing doing? How is the family doing? كيف عائلتك? You know, things like that. So كيف حال كلبي? كلب is the dog. كلبي, my dog. So how is my dog doing, Juha? قال جحا كلبك بخير. I'm not going to translate that. كلبك قوي وشجاع. قوي, strong. شجاع, brave. So he's basically trying to, praise him and praise his family and praise, give him nice words, sweet talk him. That's what Juha is trying to do. Maybe if he sweet talks him, well enough, Salih will be like, okay, fine, come eat. So that's what Juha is trying to do. So he says, no, your dog is strong and brave. كلبك يشبه الأسد. Asad is a lion. So he's like, your dog is like a lion. So he's really sweet talking him and pampering with him with words. Then انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. So he waited. انتظر, to wait. انتظر ينتظر, to wait. So he waited for Salih to invite him to eat. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. Again, Salih did not even look at Juha. He just continued. قال صالح. Then Salih said, كيف حال زوجتي سلمى? How's my wife Selma doing? How, you're from our village right now. How's my wife doing? So he wants to know. قال جحا زوجتك امرأة كريمة. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt like this.
No,
Is it
no, it's
okay?
fine.
I can answer.
Yeah, I want you guys to interrupt with.
Kalbuka
Yeah.
Kalbuka yushbihul asad. Can you please explain it? Your dog resembles.
Your dog resembles. Yeah, you can say resembles a lion. Like or your dog is like a lion. Yushbihu.
It's a fail, right?
Yes. Yushbihu. Shabaha yushbihu. Or shabiha.
Shabaha
Yeah, family
yushbihu.
one. Family one always they get to me. So let me just
It should be shabaha yushbi. It's
family one.
ma'lum, right?
Yes.
Like to resemble.
Yes.
To resemble. This is not family one. Oh, I guess it's family two then. Shabaha. But
Because it was saying yushbihu.
If it was family two, it would be yushabbihu. But this is very interesting. This one I have to look up. Honestly, I thought it was.
It can be family 4, ashbaha yushbihu, family
it
4
could
to
be family
resemble.
4. Yes, it is family 4. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, thank you so much for that. Yeah, to resemble one another. So shabaha yushbihu. Ashbaha yushbihu, sorry. Ashbaha yushbihu. Yeah.
And one more, like this, jalasa ba'id, then what does it mean, Sister Ilham? How would you translate it again? Could you please explain this? Jalasa ba'id.
He sat far away. So ba'idan here is a ظرف makan. You can look at it like, he sat far away. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said,
yeah. وجلس بعيدا. Or, I don't know, ظرف, yeah, it can be like a مفعول فيه. Where did he sit? Far away. بعيد. So ظرف, sometimes they're like مفعول فيه. Because it's the same thing. ظرف مكان is a مفعول فيه. ظرف زمان is a مفعول فيه. It's kind of like the same thing. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we were talking about the wife. So Juha was like, زوجتك امرأة كريمة. Your wife is a noble woman. She's a karima. She's a generous woman. Kareem is one of those words that have so many different meanings, by the way. Actually, Kareem means perfect. The original word means perfect. So, and from the perfection of attributes, the Arabs decided generosity is the most perfect of attributes. And that's why Kareem is synonymous with generosity, because they looked around and they said, of all the attributes, we think a person who is the generous is close to perfection, basically, something like that. That's why that happened. So زوجتك امرأة كريمة, your wife is a generous woman. زوجتك بصحة وعافية, your wife is بصحة وعافية. This is kind of like just what you said, in the best of health, like she is in the best of health. بصحة, صحة is health, عافية is also kind of like health, like, so it's like the best of both صحة and عافية. And I think this عافية is probably there in Urdu, I guess. I think you should be having that word. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, انتظر, we've covered انتظر, wait, to wait. انتظر ينتظر, so he waited. جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. Again, this sentence keeps coming up, so I might not translate it in the future. So, انتظر جحا أن يدعوه إلى الطعام. Juha waited for Salih again to invite him to the food or to eat. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. Again, same thing happened. Salih didn't even look at Juha. And أكل صالح اللقمة. So I think لقمة here, this is maybe a new word. لقمة is like like
A bite, a morsel.
Yes, a bite or a morsel, or like, yeah, like I think you get it. I don't know any other word. A bite or a morsel. So Salih ate another bite, you can say. أكل صالح لقمة. Salih had a bite. أصدرت معدة جحا أصواتا. أصدر يصدر. I think we've covered أصدر يصدر in some of the books. I think we used it to mean publish. It can also
To publish.
yeah. It can also be used to mean to bring out or bring forth, or to publicize, or something to come out. So معدة is the stomach. معدة to Juha's stomach. أصدرت, started to make. You can use it here to mean it started to make أصواتا, sounds. So Juha's stomach started rumbling, basically. Started going because he's super hungry, right? So his stomach started producing sound. أصدر, to produce, to bring out, to, in this case, make noises. Yeah. قال صالح said, كيف حال ابني زيد? How's my son Zaid? Okay. وضع جحا يده فوق بطنه. وضع, يضع, to place, to put. I think we've also seen this coming up a lot in the vocabulary of the books we've been doing. Juha, وضع Juha placed, يده, his hand, يد, hand, يداني, two hands. Then, so here his hand, he placed it. فوق, another special مضاف, فوق بطنه, on top of, again, button is a stomach. So we're looking at two names here for stomach, معدة and button. Both of them mean stomach. Okay. So he placed his hands on top of his stomach. He's trying to hide the noises and to, like, push the hunger back, something. نظر جحا إلى الطعام الكثير. Then Juha looked at all the food, all that much food. Guy is eating by himself. What a greedy guy. But a bakhil means greedy. Somebody who's greedy is a bakhil. Yeah. قال جحا. Then Juha said, ابنك زيد بخير وعافية. Again, same thing. Your son Zaid is in the best of health. Again, انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. Again, this kept coming up, so I'm just going to skip it. ظل صالح يأكل. ظل يظل. This is from the Kana and her sisters. So when we're looking at Kana and her sisters, we mentioned Kana, ظل, بات, صار, أصبح, ما زال, and all the rest. So this is, it means to remain. ظل صالح يأكل. Salih he just remained eating, or he continued eating. In this case, we can say continued eating. He just continued eating. Like, what a guy. سأل صالح جحا. Then Juha asked, Salih asked again, وكيف حال جملي? What about my camel? How's my camel doing? أغمض جحا عينيه. أغمض. Okay, this one I think I need to check, but I think it's closing the eyes. I'm not so sure. So again, you see, I'm also learning with you guys. It's not like I know what I'm doing. I know something, but I think that the whole point is for us to learn together. So أغمض, to signal to one another, to wink, to communicate. So I think to just like, he started winking his eyes, like trying to signal to him, like, you know, I'm over here, I mean, some food, a little bit of food, a little bit of water, something, you know. So that's what he did. He was like winking. Where is this? أغمض جحا عينيه. So he started winking his eyes, like signaling, like, I'm kind of hungry over here. Are you seeing me? You know. كان جحا جائعا جدا. Juha was extremely hungry. Again, جائعا, so it means it's an اسم فاعل. جاع يجوع, I think, like قال يقول. So قائلا جائعا. That's the pattern right there. أجاب جحا. أجاب, to get to another word for response. So we looked at رد, and now we have أجاب. This is again family form. So it means to respond. So or to answer. So Juha answered, جملك بخير. جملك قوي. We already saw قوي. وصبور. So صبور here is new. صبور. So صبر يصبر. I think it means to increase. The word صبر actually, it doesn't mean patient as such. It actually has to do with increase. Something to increase. So saburun means like it's a fat one, it's a big one. Qawiyun wa saburun, like it's you know, it has increased very well. I don't know how to, like, but you understand, you get the idea. So sabur, it's a fat cow, basically. Fat camel. جملك في صحة جيدة. Again, صحة, صحة means like health. جيدة, you know, جيدة. انتظر جحا أن يدعوه صالح إلى الطعام. Same stuff, we've covered that. بقي صالح يأكل. بقي, again now we are seeing another word. So ظل صالح يأكل, he remained eating. بقي, again he remained. بقي يبقى, again he remained eating. لم ينظر صالح إلى حجة أبدا. He needed, now here they added just the word أبدا, because before it was لم ينظر صالح إلى جحا. Here they just added أبدا. Did not look at him at all. So it's some extra emphasis there. بعد كل هذه الأسئلة. بعد كل هذه الأسئلة. هذه الأسئلة اسم الإشارة المشار إليه. So after all these questions, so he's been asking him questions about back home. How's my wife? How's this? How's that? So after all these questions, and he's not being invited to the food, غضب جحا. He became angry. جحا became mad. غضب. He became mad. لأن صالحا لم يدعه إلى الطعام, because Salih did not invite him to eat. يدعه, did not invite him to eat. لهذا السبب, for this reason, or therefore, you can say even, فكر جحا في حيلة. Juha started hatching a plan. He started thinking of, what am I going to do? حيلة is like to hatch a plan, or like what is it called? I'm forgetting the English word for it. But yeah, basically he started thinking of a plan. How is he going to trick this guy into giving him food? So فكر جحا في حيلة.
To scheme something, or
Yeah, like a scheme, or I don't know. Maybe I will check that and maybe post the word for it. But I'm also looking at time and I want to be able to finish this.
In reader, we use scheme, I think, for this word.
Yeah.
This word
Oh.
was also in reader.
Yeah, so it's basically the same thing. So to come up with a plan, or to scheme, or to plot, or to hatch something, to trick somebody. Yeah, something like that. في تلك اللحظة. في تلك اللحظة. In that moment, اللحظة There's also another time for time or moment or that second. In that moment, في تلك اللحظة مشى كلب من أمام صالح. A dog مشى, walked من أمام صالح, or a dog basically passed by in front of Saleh. While he was eating, a dog passed by. كان الكلب نحيلا ومريضا. I don't know the meaning of this word نحيل, but I'm imagining, like, when I'm reading it, I can imagine it's not good. It's like very sick or something, or weak, maybe. So again, the context, sometimes if you don't know a word, like the context will give you. So nahil, nahil also, thin, slim, slender, weak, emaciated. So that's basically the meaning of that. Nahilan, weak, skinny. Oops, yeah. So كان الكلب نحيلا ومريضا. The dog was very skinny and it looked sick. ومريضا, it was sick, poor thing. And what did Saleh do? ضحك صالح. Saleh started laughing. ضحك, he laughed. Started laughing at the poor dog. And he said, لا يوجد كلب مثل كلب القوي. There's no dog. لا يوجد. يوجد is like to find, to exist. So there's no dog that exists like my dog. There's no dog that can be found like my strong dog. الكلب القوي, my strong dog. So there's no dog like my strong dog. Basically, that's what he said. Now, Juha, remember he was hatching a plan? So now it came to him. He smiled. ابتسم جحا. He smiled. وقال, and he said, نعم. Yeah. لو عاش كلبك لأصبح ملك الكلب. If your dog was alive, he would have been the king of dogs. So look how smart Juha is. Like, yeah, it's very true. But you know, if your dog was alive, he would have been the king of dogs, no doubt. Like, so he's trying to be smart. He's trying to finesse the guy. Yeah. التفت صالح إلى جحا. التفت, to turn towards. So التفت صالح إلى جحا. Then Salih turned towards Juha. He looked at him basically. سأل صالح جحا. Salih asked Juha, وهل مات كلبي? And has my dog died? Do you mean my dog has died? Because he just broke the news to the guy. He's like, if your dog was alive, he would have been the king of dogs. So now Salih did not know that, the dog has died. So he's like, huh? وهل مات كلبي? Has my dog died? قال جحا بصوت حزين. Juha said بصوت حزين, in a sad voice. Now Juha is playing the guy. Like, now he changed his voice in a very sad one. He's like, لقد أكل الكلب قطعة من لحم جملك. Now he's really playing the guy. He's like, your dog, لقد أكل الكلب, the dog ate or had eaten. So the dog had eaten قطعة, a piece. قطعة, remember when we were doing reader, I think we said قطعة الزجاج, a piece of glass. So here قطعة من لحم, a piece of meat, من لحم جملك مضاف مضاف إليه, a piece of meat from your camel. So he ate a piece of meat from your camel. سدت القطعة حلق الكلب. سد يسد, we did this in Surah Munafiqun, to block. So the قطعة, the piece, blocked or chopped. حلقة, the throat, so yeah, you can say the throat. So basically the dog got chopped. So the piece that he ate choked the dog's throat, or the dog choked, in other words, or blocked the dog's throat. فمات, and he died.
Can
Yes.
I?
Yes.
I think that's Saddabat with Saad.
Oh yeah.
Surim.
Because there's some similarities between the two. Let me just confirm. Sadda is a dam. So to block, like it's they're very close, I think. So sadda, to plug, to close, to stop, to clog, congest. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the meaning. Kind of very close to sadda with a sad. I keep confusing them because sad is a word for the dam as well. So to block something, to close, to stop, all those meanings apply for sad. And I think there's a connection between this sad and sad also, but I don't want to get into that. I also need to research about it more. I think I've forgotten what it is, but yeah, they're related sort of. So you have that. So the piece of meat basically clogged up the dog's throat. فمات, and it died. Now at this point, ترك صالح الطعام. Salih left the food because now it's getting serious. What? وقف صالح. He actually stood up. وقف صالح. وصاح, and he started screaming. He screamed. وهل مات جملي? You mean also my camel is dead? وهل مات جملي? Is my camel dead? قال جحا. Again, he's, using that same sad voice. نعم. لقد سقط الجمل في قبر زوجتك. لقد سقط يسقط to fall. Okay. So سقط الجمل, the camel fell في قبر زوجتك, on the grave of your wife. Again, he's adding more insult to injury, this guy Juha. So he's like, yeah, that's how your camel died. It fell on your wife's grave. كسر الجمل رقبته. So then كسر, we did this, I think also it's from there, كسر, to break. So then the camel broke its neck. رقبة, neck. It broke its neck. رقبة, yeah, its neck. ذبح الناس الجمل قبل أن يموت. So the people, they decided to slaughter the camel before it died, to save it from the pain and also to make the meat halal so that everybody can eat. So they slaughtered the camel. لطم صالح وجهه. لطم, to basically slap. So he slapped his own face. He was slapped his face out of shock. لطم صالح وجهه, slapped his face. And then صاح صالح, and he started screaming again. وهل ماتت زوجتي? You mean also my wife is dead? قال جحا said, نعم, لقد ماتت زوجتك بسبب الحزن. Your wife died because of grief. He was so sad because of sorrow. Your wife was so sad he died. كانت زوجتك حزينة? Your wife was very sad. لأن ابنها زيدا مات. Because her son Zayd had died. That's why she was sad. شد صالح شعره. شد, to pull out. So he started pulling out his hair like, this is, what are you saying to me? First it was my dog, then it was my camel, then it was my wife, then you're telling me also my son is dead? شد صالح شعره. He started pulling out his hair. صاح صالح. صالح started to scream again. وهل مات ابني? You mean also my son is dead? وهل مات ابني? Is my son dead? أجاب جحا answered, نعم, لقد سقط سقف البيت. So basically, سقف, the ceiling or the roof, fell down. The roof of the house fell down. كان زيد في البيت وحده. Zayd was alone in the house. كان زيد في البيت وحده. وحده means alone. Like we know Allah is Al-Wahid, Al-Ahad also. So he was alone in the house. كسرت الحجارة رأس زيد. The rock basically, it broke Zayd's head, or it hit Zayd's head and it broke. Yeah. فمات. So he died. لطم صالح وجهه. Again, Salih slapped his face again. Like he can't believe what he's hearing. بكى صالح. He started to cry, poor guy. بكى يبكي, to cry. He started to cry. ضرب صالح صدره. He started beating his chest out of grief. ضرب, يضرب, we know that family. صدره, chest. Okay. نتف صالح لحيته. نتف is another word for pulling. So we saw شدة, pull. لطف, نتف, also to pull. So Salih started pulling his beard. Like he's just so much in shock and grief, and he doesn't understand what's happening. Everybody he knows is dead. Even the animals are dead. So he started pulling out his beard. نتف صالح لحيته. لحية is the word for beard. لحية. نسي صالح طعام. He actually forgot the food. Like no more food right now because everybody is dead. جرى صالح في الصحراء. جرى يجري. We talked about this before. Remember جحا. جرى نحو الرجل. He started running towards the guy. It's coming back again. جرى صالح في الصحراء. صالح started running in the desert. So he's going back home. كان صالح يجري مثل المجنون. كان صالح يجري. جرى يجري. So he started running. He was running like a crazy man. المجنون. Somebody who's crazy. So he was running like a crazy guy. نظر جحا إلى الطعام. So now Juha started looking at the food. Like, you're mine now. وابتسم. And he smiled. جلس جحا أمام الطعام. He sat in front of the food like it's his. قال جحا هذا عقاب البخيل. This is the, you can say punishment, or you can say the reward. I don't want to use reward, but recompense, or this is the treatment. I don't know. Like I feel like
result of
not result, but like this is what like a greedy person gets. Like this is like the I can't think of an easy word. Recompense is the only word that is coming in my mind. But you can think of the reward also. You can use iqab loosely as reward. But maybe like let's use punishment because it's closer to what I'm trying to say. So هذا عقاب البخيل. This is the punishment of a greedy person. البخيل is a greedy person. Miserly, miserly. I don't know the English, that English word. أرجو, I hope. أرجو. رجا يرجو. رجاء. So أرجو. أنا أرجو. أن يغفر الله لي. I hope that Allah forgives me. You know that part. أكل جحا الطعام كله. Juha ate all the food. أكل جحا الطعام كله. كله. All of it. So he ate all the food. حمل جحا الماء. He carried the water. مشى جحا في الصحراء. He started walking in the desert. وصل جحا إلى القرية البعيدة. جحا وصل. He reached the faraway village where he was going initially. He reached after playing a very nasty trick on this greedy guy. Okay, so I hope that's clear. All right. So let's look at the questions. There are only 10 questions. We can do them quickly. Hopefully, we can end soon. Maybe like in 5-10 minutes, inshallah, we can end. So we have فكر جحا في حيلة. So they're giving us a sentence. فكر جحا في حيلة. Juha thought of a plan or hatched a plan or started scheming. So he started thinking of a scheme. Let me give you option 1. لأن صالح لم يدعه إلى الطعام أو لأن الكلب كان نحيلا أو لأن الطريق كانت طويلة. What do you guys think? What is the correct answer? Why did Juha come up with a plan?
لأن صالحا لم يدعوه إلى الطعام.
Exactly. Yeah. Saleh did not invite him to the food. Oops. Sorry about that. لأن صالحا لم يدعوه إلى الطعام. Saleh did not invite him to the food, and that's why he came up with a plan. Option B is لأن الكلب كان نحيلا, because the dog was skinny and, you know, thin. But that's not why he came up with a plan. لأن الطريق كانت طويلة, because the road was very long, or like the way was very long. That's not why. Okay. سأل صالح جهة عن. What did Saleh ask جهة? عن مزرعته وابنته. مزرعة is a farm. So زرع to farm. مزرعة is a place where you farm. So مزرعة is ظرف. وابنته, or he asked about كلبه وجمله. his dog and his camel. Or he asked about بيته وتجارته. Tijara, business, or his trade, or his, yeah, basically.
قلبه وجماله
جمله.
جماله yeah.
كلبه وجمله, exactly. He asked about his dog and his camel. Nice. كانت معدة جحا تصدر. كانت معدة جحا تصدر. So we looked at معدة is one of the names of stomach. The other name is button. So كانت معدة جحا تصدر ماذا? The جحا stomach was producing what? ريحا. ريحا is wind. أصواتا, sounds. صفيرا, I don't know what صفيرا is. Something I need to check also. But it didn't even come up in the text. So أصواتا, exactly. So it produced sounds. Okay. قال جحا إن جمل صالح. Juha said that Salih's camel is a شجاع, brave, متعب, wearisome, I don't know, tired, متعب, like troublesome, or he said it was sabor, it was increased, basically, or far. What do you guys think? Which one? About the camel.
صبور.
صبور, exactly. The camel was صبور. مشى كلب أمام صالح. مشى كلب. Which kind of a dog passed by Salih? Was it قوي? Was it لطيف? Or was it نحيل? What do you guys think? What kind of a dog passed by Salih when he was eating?
نحيل.
ناهل.
Exactly, نحيل. It was a thin, skinny type of dog. عكس كلمة اقترب. So here they're asking us for the opposite. عكس means opposite. So عكس كلمة اقترب. What is the opposite of the word اقترب? اقترب means to come close. So the opposite has to mean to go far. Then we have راقب, we have ابتعد, and we have ترقب. What do you guys think? If you were to guess, what would you guess?
ابتعد.
Exactly.
ابتعد.
Because remember, بعيد means far away. So this is how sarf comes in play. Because you look at the jidr is the same, ba, ayn, and dal. بعيد. ابتعد. But اقترب is qaf, ra, and ba. راقب has ra, qaf, and ba. ترقب has ra, qaf, and ba. So these are probably close together. So that's how you can even eliminate if you don't know the answer. معنى كلمة عقاب. So they want us to give the meaning of the word عقاب. So جزاء بالخير. So جزاء is a recompense or is a good reward basically. جزاء بالشر or is a bad reward, or is المذنب is a person who is guilty. مذنب, criminal maybe, I don't know. So what do you guys think? If you what is the meaning of عقاب? We translate it as punishment. So is it a good? Yes. جزاء بالشر. It's an evil or an evil reward or a bad reward. عكس كلمة شجاع. What عكس? We said opposite. So what is the opposite of the word شجاع? Brave. I don't know if you know. Let's see if you can be able to figure out. Let's just see. So we have Jaban, we have Jishia, we have Najib. Actually, I don't know what two of these words mean, but I know the opposite. So I know one. I know the right answer. I just don't know what the others mean. Maybe we can
Guess
look
the
it.
first one.
Yeah, it's the first one. Jaban is a coward. Okay, so Jaban, extremely coward type of person. The others, I don't know what they mean, honestly. I will look them up. So,
And the
didn't
middle
look.
one has got the same jither as the shuja. So it can
But
be
slightly like
a
the
different
fa
thing.
letter
Yeah,
is,
root
yeah,
word. Yeah.
yeah, it's the same letters, but maybe different sound. Like,
Different.
yeah, because the fa letter, the ain, it's a bit different. I'll look that up inshallah. معنى كلمة ذبح. ذبح. We call it عيد الأضحى. Okay, that's slightly different, but ذبح, we call it ذبيحة. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. We call it ذبيحة. So that should give you a clue. ذبيحة meat, or if you come from a certain part of the world, ذبيحة. So that's what it is. قطع بطن الحيوان. Is it a قطع? قطع. Why قطع? Anyway. Oh, because it's part of the sentence. Okay. قطع بطن الحيوان. بطن الحيوان. قطع ساق الحيوان. قطع حلق الحيوان.
قطع حلق الحيوان, right?
Yes. Yeah, you cut the neck. It's not cutting. Dhabiha, it's called halal dhabiha because we slaughter, we cut the neck. We don't cut the leg, or we don't cut the stomach, or we don't cut. So button is the stomach. So basically they're saying cutting the stomach of an animal. Or saqa. Saqa is that? Is it a thigh? I'm forgetting what saq. It's either like leg.
Shin?
The leg.
Bisaq. It is an eye in the Quran. That word. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
what's saq? Yeah, what's saq bisaq? I think it's
Is
either
it
legs or something. Yeah?
Shin?
Sheen. Yeah, part of the leg, yeah, the bottom. Yeah. Or something. Yeah. That's where it is. So it's not that anyway. That's not the answer. And the last question is عكس كلمة قوي. So what is the opposite of the word قوي? Is it وفي? Is it فظيع? Is it ضعيف? What do you guys think?
Daif.
Yeah, ضعيف. I don't know what these other ones mean, but at least I know ضعيف. So yeah. Okay, that's good. So basically that's it. That's the end of our first lesson. So at this point, maybe I'm gonna ask you for if you have any questions and maybe feedback, and let me know if this is something you guys think will be beneficial and if it's something we need to continue, or we can go back to other projects or other classes or other lessons. So what do you guys think? Okay. So yes, said loved it. Took me time to understand. Yeah, it's gonna take some time because it's a different kind of language. It's a story type of thing. But I think with practice, it gets there.
I think, Sister, it was very beneficial. I think verbally listening is quite hard. So I didn't understand most of it. But when I read it, I understand some of it, and some words I'll have to look up. I think it's the listening part that I find it quite difficult. So, but it's making us read or listen to something. So I think it is beneficial.
Yeah, and I think that's a missing link, because when you look at our Baina studies, it's mostly reading, and we're looking most of the time, we're using our eyes. But Arabic is not a language of the eyes. Arabic is a language of the ears. If you're able to train your ears to hear, then I think that's a next level type of thing. And that's, I think, why I decided to come up with this project, because most of us are not exposed to listening material. We're exposed to a lot of reading material, but not a lot of listening. And listening is very, very important. And maybe I think I can try and read it slower so that maybe each sentence is captured. You can be able to follow easily. But I think I was trying to animate too much and maybe reading it quite very fast. Okay, alhamdulillah, Fahima says understood it well. It is beneficial, alhamdulillah. We were all aware of sentence structure. Yeah, so have to do with vocab only. Exactly. So the idea is just to enhance vocabulary and listening skills. Listening is key. It's going to be key in this whole entire thing. And that's something I'm going to work on, inshallah. Zainab, you want to say something?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I found it very beneficial. At first, you're a bit fast, just as you said. I could get words here and there, but the second time, mashallah, it made a big difference, and it's not like the first time. And a lot of vocabularies for me that have come together in an interesting way and engaging. So inshallah, I'd probably like to go over the text on my own and just go over the words to make sure that, I still remember them. So that was very good. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. I'm glad. Okay. So what do you guys think? Should we continue? Should we make this a project? Should I open my group?
Yeah, definitely. You have my vote.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, great. I don't know, is it Jawhara were you the one who's speaking? Because we can't really hear you. Your voice is very faint. Anyway, as you sort out your mic, maybe, or you can just type it in the chat and let us know your thoughts. But I think based on the majority, you guys think it's worth it. So we'll try and I'll create that group. In fact, let me just share with you the link, the invite link for the group, so that I'm gonna post it in the chat so that you guys can join the group and have access to that. And then I will post all the vocabulary list. I will also post the link to this website. So for those of you who want to check out the website on your own or just revisit that, so you can do that. So that's the link. Oh, sorry. I need to send to. Okay, there. Hope you can see the link of the chat group. You can join that. You can read through the group descriptions carefully so that you can understand what I'm trying to do in the group. And hopefully any other information will pass down to the group. I'm going to make this group a part of the Bayina community. So other people will be joining in, inshallah, based on that. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much, guys, for the feedback. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add, or maybe I could just stop the recording here. And if there's anything, you can let me know. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.